It looks like the Democrats might actually go forward with the impeachment process of Donald Trump. It is constitutionally possible to impeach a former president. The Democrats are going to need 17 Republicans in the Senate to convict Donald Trump of the articles of impeachment. That trial is expected to begin in 2 weeks, giving Joe Biden time to seat the rest of his administration. That said, my question for the panel is, do we believe that the Republicans are going to give up 17 votes in the Senate to find Donald Trump guilty of the articles of impeachment, if for no other reason to prevent him from leading the party between now and 2024? Let's start with Marcus and we'll go around the room.
If the Senate doesn't get rid of the filibuster, then they don't care about black voters.
Facts.
If Donald Trump is not impeached, the Democrats don't care about black voters. I'm just going to skip a step because we tend to get into semantics a whole lot more than we need to. It's not even about the capability. It's about using power and wielding power and how Democrats decide that they want to wield power. We can do whatever we want to right now. The problem is that we are literally afraid of losing seats because Democrats have fundamentally never done anything for the general public besides pass Obamacare, which a lot of us still can't even use. We got to realize something. My party has to realize that when you actually do things for people, they will vote for you over and over and over again. But they're afraid to actually do something for people, right? And what does that mean? They're questioning themselves whether having leadership, they're questioning their own leadership right now. They're questioning whether having leadership will get them victories because they are addicted to moderate white voters, right? Moderate white voters don't want what the black people who put them in office want. It's just a very big difference, and they understand that. But the addiction to moderate white voters and the addiction to white television consultants and the addiction is there. So where I'm going with that, to answer your question, is very simple. If they don't, we have the power to do whatever the hell we want to do, but we don't because we don't know how to wield power. The filibuster should have been ended a long time ago. Trump should have been. This shouldn't even be a conversation about if we impeach Trump. The conversation should have been about when we impeach Trump, right? And us even acting like Mitch McConnell has a valid voice right now. It's just unnecessary. Nobody gave a damn about Chuck Schumer's voice when Mitch McConnell was in the head. It was just like, oh, look at him crying. Right.
Facts.
So
Facts.
The last thing I want to say is it's interesting how they got rid of the filibuster and they really didn't care about the filibuster when they were giving tax breaks to multi-billionaires. But when it comes down to $2,000 for American people, we got to worry ourselves about what Republicans think.
Right. Facts. Mundell, I want to come to you on that end, right? So there is a balance between what the Democrats can do, what they should have done, what they should be doing, regardless of what the Republicans say. But unless they get rid of the filibuster, or even in this specific case, they're going to need a majority to actually convict them in the Senate. I guess the question still remains, like, do you think Republicans are actually now I can kind of answer my question with what you said previously. You said that Republicans will let it proceed and they are going to capitalize off of it by fundraising on behalf of Republicans who are mad about them impeaching Donald Trump. Break that strategy down that you were talking to us about last week.
Yeah. So, well, first thing, Donald Trump has already been impeached for the second time. So let's just clear the air. He's already been impeached. Now we're talking about conviction. So the idea, the filibuster really doesn't play into the conviction of Donald Trump. I am 100% with Marcus on the filibuster is racist and it's a relic of segregation era folk, and people need to own that and say it and get rid of it. But in this case, our Constitution says you need 2/3 of the Senate to convict the president for. So the filibuster has to go, absolutely. And also, this regardless of the filibuster or not, we would still need Republicans because we don't have 2/3 of Democrats in the Senate. But the strategy is simple. This is a way that Mitch McConnell can have his cake and eat it too. He convinced Schumer to push this back for 2 weeks in what he called his slimy ass a way to, seat Joe Biden's administration and let his Right. But what really was going on is this is a way for them to not be in control of the Senate. And the Republicans I'm talking about now, there's a Democratic Senate, right? And all they're going to do is they're going to run campaign ads. They're going to send out a bunch of emails. A bunch of Republicans are going to send out a bunch of emails to raise a bunch of money against the Democrats who are radical, who are acting like AOC in the House, who are taking, taking arms from Ilhan Omar. And this is where the party is going. The Democratic Party has lost its way. It's far left extremists are running the party. And now what we need to do is raise money so that they can impeach our president.
And so that gets
president
us back.
being Donald Trump.
Right. No, exactly that. They're going to fundraise. Republicans are going to try. And I think that's the strategy, right? I think you're exactly right. They're going to let Democrats do the dirty work. They'll find 16 Republicans willing, or 17 willing to join on for the supermajority, that 2/3 majority they need in the Senate. Mitch, what's our guy from the one that ran for president with Paul Ryan, the square chin guy? What is his name from Utah? The senator from Utah ran for president with Paul Ryan. His name escapes me. Everybody in the audience is yelling.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney. Thank God. Mitt Romney Republican has already indicated that he is willing to support the impeachment. So they're just going to have to find 16 more Republicans. When they find 16 more Republicans, they're going to let the Democrats do the dirty work. But Rebecca, I want to turn to you. The strategy is really simple for Republicans then. They know they cannot survive 4 years of Donald Trump constantly positioning himself to run for president in 2024. If they convict him in the Senate, then that gets rid of a major problem for Mitch McConnell and all the other Republicans who never really wanted to support Donald Trump, but they went along with him because they knew he was wild enough to do anything and make all their judicial appointments. That said, how did they get rid of him now when they needed him over the last 4 years? How are they going to save, or do they even care? They just want to get rid of him. They're going to let Democrats do the dirty work and run with it.
They basically are doing what they're doing now. They're detaching. This is how they're going to try to get rid of him for their namesake. They're detaching themselves from Donald Trump. And as they begin to do that, they'll go ahead and make sure that they are leading the charge with Democrats in getting or convicting him in the impeachment if this means that their name is cleared with the recent insurrections, the terrorist attacks, child. But they'll make sure that they are going to be hand in hand, the unification. They're going to show that. That's where we're going to see the representation of the unification that they've been speaking of in these last few weeks to get him out, to convict him, to make sure that there is no chance of him ever getting an opportunity to lead in any political party or anything like that, as far as for Republicans. So my thing still is, like, when we look at this, and watching how Republicans played a role in this whole thing, this whole time. They stood by, they were bystanders. They didn't say much when things were going down. When questioned, they would always have an excuse or just not comment at all. And to me, that spoke louder. But now all of them feel some type of way because the same folks that they helped, excite to go ahead and get these riots popping, they're looking at them crazy now. But you guys have literally built them for all of this. You built this whole community of people, and now you guys want to speak out and stand up against Donald Trump. But if that gets the conviction, then so
it is. I want to bring up a headline from Newsweek. Kevin McCarthy, who is getting slammed for saying that, quote, everybody across the country is to blame for the Capitol attack. Now, this ties in directly to the impeachment process, because what Donald Trump got impeached over for the second time was the insurrection, right? Was the violence at the Capitol. But now Kevin McCarthy, who is, I believe, one of the House leaders for the Republican Party, I forget his exact title, but he's now trying to equivocate and try to soften the blow for Donald Trump, saying that now we all know it's ridiculous. But I think it speaks to what you're saying, Rebecca, that they're going to position themselves in any way they can to either try to benefit from what remains of the Trump movement, because there's still a large Trump movement. And then you have other Republicans who are going to be willing to throw Trump under the bus in order to make sure that there is no future Trump movement. James, I want to ask you this before we go to a break. How much of the details are the streets watching? because I'm gonna be honest, we need them to watch because these things are at a fever pitch, right? The fact that they marched up the steps to the Capitol, willing to tear down this democracy, I think that's something everybody should watch. But then sometimes in the nuances of impeachment versus conviction versus the additional vote that they are going to have to take to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't run again, that's an additional vote on top of it. Like there's layers and layers and layers to this. How much are the streets watching, and how do we get them to watch even more? Is my real question.
They're watching a whole lot, especially with the insurrection, the terrorist plot that took place. Excuse me. So everybody is watching now. And I think if people are not, more so the House and the Senate, if they're not on the right side of this and doing what they need to do, I honestly think it has the potential to be some more riots, more protests. I think it can lead up to a lot, especially because, let's be honest, you incited this riot. You can't say that you didn't. The evidence shows it. The proof shows it that, you did this. So you need to be charged for it accordingly. And unbelievably, you still have those Republicans out here. I saw an interview over the weekend with Paul Rand yesterday.
Rand Paul, yeah.
Rand
that
Paul,
was wild.
Whatever his name is. I wanted to just go pull this man through the TV screen. I'm like, yo, do you hear yourself right now?
Do we have that clip?
It's just.
What exactly did Rand Paul say that got you all fired
everything?
up?
Because that's everything.
I heard about it.
Yeah, anytime he opened his mouth, it's ridiculous.
And what was the interviewer's name? It was on ABC. The only thing I know is he was like, "You're not asking my question. Like, do you honestly believe that the election was stolen?"
Yeah,
and he was going all around the question, and it was just like, we still having this conversation, and you're still not admitting to anything. No, there was fraud and voter fraud, and did this.
There are so many people. I'm sorry, James, but there are so many people that are just like Rand Paul, and this is what I'm talking about when I keep speaking about these Republicans now coming out and trying to make sure that they're on the right side of history. Right? We're never going to forget, like Sarah Huckabee. Listen, Heffa, we never gonna forget the way you was lying. We never gonna forget that. So you can run all you want to for governor. People are going to always remember where you were, where your place was, and that was lying for Donald Trump. And so when we look at these Republicans coming out and they're questioned about, hey, do you think the election was rigged or stolen? And you're going all around the question, but still trying to say that you weren't a part of the insurrections. Nah, we're looking at you guys. We're going to remember these moments all the time. You can't clear your name if you can't sit here and tell the truth. Y'all all are on the same side of history. And I pray that them history books highlight y'all by name
clips because let's go ahead and have these digital. Let's not just read it. I want somebody to open up a history book, their e-reader, and I want them to click on the link. That's what we need. We need actual clip because we got all the receipts.